And I think that's the big difference between when they're showcasing me like a lab sample from a lab. Yeah, I'm not a lab. I'm a body.
Yeah.
Like I have there's so much more going on than in a petri dish.
Exactly.
So
it's not like a controlled environment for us.
Correct.
Our body is constantly fighting for homeostasis and doing all these different things that...
And you just said it, like your blood, for example, needs to be right there, 7.35 to 7.45.
Yeah.
Literally right there. So slightly up or slightly down, game over for your body. So again, this whole idea of I can balance something out by eating or drinking high alkaline food is nonsense.
Yeah.
I think we all clearly believe in nutritions and healthy nutritions. I think that is important. Obviously, the fresher the food is, what we're eating, the better it is for our body. But it's not really about the pH. It's about the nutritions. And then it comes actually to minerals again. Because a lot of processed foods lacks minerals these days. I talked to a doctor in one of my water classes. I'm doing virtual water classes. Cool. I'm sending different waters out in a box. And then over Zoom, I'm doing a water tasting. It's pretty cool. Always like with 20, 30 people on a call. And last time I had a doctor on me and she said, like, Martin, this whole idea about minerality, you are absolutely right, because a lot of our processed food lacks of minerality these days. And your body suddenly does not have enough calcium or enough magnesium or something like that. It's highly sodium, then maybe just like the bad sodium, what we don't want to have. It's very interesting to see. And she says as well, like a mineral water, what actually comes from natural sources, where minerals are dissolved by nature, is so much better for your body.
Well, let's try some. Can we try some?
Cool.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so I like to drink my waters out of a wine glass. And it's not about to be fancy. It's more about I want to bring value back to water. And I want to treat it like the same like a wine. Yeah. Because I think we all know, like, oh my God, I had this amazing Chardonnay, or I had this amazing Pinot Grigio, or I had this amazing Riesling, or Pinot, or Merlot, whatever you like. And you remember this, but you didn't drink this from a plastic cup. You drank this in a nice environment in a restaurant. And that brings me to the topic of taste and flavor. These are two different pairs of shoes. A lot of people think that's the same. Taste is literally just salt, bitter, sweet, umami, what our palate actually can recognize. Flavor is everything else, the surrounding, where I am. Infiltrates the flavor of a beverage or of food. And I'm always saying it's the Pinot Grigio effect. When you're in Sicily, in Italy, you have the best time ever with your boyfriend, lover, whatever. You just met somebody, you had the best sex ever, whatever. Hopefully it's over 18 years, the podcast. It's like, I'm so European again. Like, I'm sorry. Okay. No, sorry about this.
No, we love it.
So, and then you drink this amazing wine. You're like, oh my God, that's the best wine ever. Suddenly you're coming home. You broke up with the love, what you thought is the love, because you realized this guy actually has 3 kids and 2 different wives. And you never want to see him again. But suddenly you find the same wine at the grocery store for $2.99. And you're like, how cool is that? The best wine I ever had in Italy, when I had the best sex ever, suddenly is here for $2.99. So you're buying that wine. You're still crying about the guy and being super mad about this guy or the girl, whatever you please, obviously. And suddenly you realize that wine tastes like shit.
Yeah.
But it's the same wine. Why? Because the flavor is different. The surrounding, the conception of that is suddenly different. And it's called gastrophysics. It's unbelievable. There's been studies done. The same dessert, just plated differently, will taste differently. Exactly the same dessert. But when you're putting it in round circles, it will taste smoother on your palate versus when you're putting it in triangles.
Wow.
It's completely insane. It's completely insane. It's super interesting.
That's so cool.
Like flavor and taste, again, 2 different pairs of shoes. Don't feel they're the same. It's not the same. Okay, so I have several waters, and we cannot drink them all because then it's like we don't have a pod. Like we're already on 44 minutes, and I don't want to have the podcast like a 20 hours podcast. We can easily do this. This water actually has a very cool story. So it's called Antipodes from New Zealand. I just been there to the spring source. It takes around 50 years, between 50 and 300. It really depends like how much rain is coming. Trips down on the summit and passes through the different stone there and been collected in an aquifer, natural aquifer. And they tapped into this aquifer, and there's so much pressure on that aquifer that this water comes up by themselves. So that calls then artesian water. And you see it here on the bottle. Artesian water. So that means under pressure, collected.
Cool.
Versus spring water is gravity forced. Summit water passes through. At one point, there's a stone layer where the water cannot pass through. It goes like this way, and then it comes maybe out by gravity. Versus pressure, 2 mountains, aquifer in the valley, water passes through the mountains, and it collects in the aquifer. The aquifer is so much filled up with water. When you tip into it, it will come out automatically.
That's so, and does that determine how much minerality is going to be in the water too?
No.
Does it have an effect on it at all?
It has something to do with the age of the water. So how long the water spends time in which stone layers, and that the stone layers are easily to release minerality. So this is way more complexer than just versus artesian versus spring source.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
No, it's interesting. But when you're drinking artesian water and spring water, does it mean that it will have some minerals in there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every water from nature has minerals. There is no pure water. Again, pure is a term created by mankind. Mother Nature does not know the word pure. Pure is just not there.
Yeah.
Every water has minerals dissolved. So when you would talk about completely pure water, that means distilled water. Again, that's great for your car batteries. That's great for small appliances. That was never meant for consumption. And I see people going to the gym with a gallon of distilled water because they're thinking they can flush out toxins from their body, but they're not realizing that they're diluting their mineral composition. And then suddenly they're realizing, why I feel so weak today, why I have headaches. It's a lack of minerality.
Yeah.
And your body can actually just process water to your cells with minerals.